Torbran, Thane of Redfell versus Jhoira Weatherlight Captain. Yeah, that's a very slow hand, especially for a burn deck. And as usual, you get into an even worse hand when you decide to mulligan. So, yeah, with no red mana, we'll have to go again. Okay, well, a couple of red pieces there at least, an Ancient Tomb. Yeah, I don't think we need to worry about keeping Price of Glory. Yeah, we'll get rid of Price of Glory and of Circle of Flame. And the aim here really is to ramp up to Thundermaw Hellkite. Speaking of ramp, our opponent gets down a Mana Crypt on turn 1. Let's see a Fabricate here from our opponent. Nope, just going for Arkham's Astrolabe. Is that how you say that? And then Goblin Engineer. They'll be able to entomb for an artifact. Get into an Earthquake. Yeah, it's another red piece of mana we need, really. And they've decided to dump Sol Ring into the bin, by the way. So for 1 tap and sack an artifact, they can reanimate Sol Ring. So they might want to sacrifice the Astrolabe. And there is Jhoira. They've got red mana from their snow artifact here. That can convert mana into any colour. And swing it in for 1. Alright, Mana Barbs we can get down on turn 3. So we'll just go for Thrill of Possibility. At the end of our opponent's turn we can get rid of Earthquake. An Ethereum Sculptor on their way to a combo, no doubt. And that will draw them a card with Jhoira. Most likely a very low mana curve in this deck with lots of artifacts. And there we are, a free Mana Vault. And they're going to be able to tap that for mana and then sacrifice it to pull out the Sol Ring. Wow, they've got a Mox Opal as well. Yeah, this is one hell of a hand our opponent's got. I'd be very surprised if we came back from this. Followed by a Sculpting Steel. And that is a copy of Ethereum Sculptor. So artifacts will cost 3 less to cast now with the Foundry Inspector. Followed by a Prismatic Lens. Yeah, it might actually just be worth keeping the Earthquake, seeing as how we are running up against a Cheerios deck apparently. Clock of Omens. Tap 2 untapped artifacts you control to untap an artifact, then a Tormod's Crypt that we don't care about. Every time our opponent casts one of these free artifacts, they're drawing a card though. And they are having a lot of luck not filling their hand with lands apparently. Going for a gamble now, maybe with a full grip of lands in tow. Doesn't really matter if they discard the artifact because the Goblin Engineer can bring it back anyway. They end up discarding a Metal Worker, which may well be what they gambled for. Then untapping the Mana Vault with the Manifold Key. And then using the Clock of Omens to untap the Mana Vault again. So they'll have 6 mana from that now. And then doing it again, that's 9 mana. Then turning some of that colourless mana into red to grab their Sol Ring. And that is now 11 mana they've got. And they go for Paradoxical Outcome. Return any number of non-land, non-token permanents to their owner's hand. And draw for each card that you do this with. So what are we on here? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10... and 12, and our opponent's going to be able to play out their entire hand again pretty much because their artifacts are going to be free. Mox Diamond was one of the cards we didn't see previously. Just going to fast forward here because it's our opponent just playing Solitaire Magic, so I will see you all at the end of this video. Alright, sorry, let me just... took me by surprise there. Let me just switch off the video I was watching. Yeah, typical Cheerios deck from Jhoira. This video is probably being spliced onto another one, either at the beginning or the end, so any of you that are interested in building a competitive Jhoira list, then here is one for you right here. We've seen a lot of our opponent's cards actually. They are down to 27 cards in the library. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video previous to this, or the one coming up next. I'll see you soon. Torbran, Thane of Redfell versus Nekusar the Mindrazer. Yeah, we can curve out pretty well there, so let's keep it. Not often you get to curve out in Commander. Got a friend of the channel in Axis Corps, so big thank you to them for watching the videos. I'm glad that you enjoy watching them. Play out our Spear Spewer. That can deal 3 damage to each of our opponents when our commander's in play. As opposed to Circling Flame, I don't think our opponent's going to be attacking with many creatures in a Nekusar deck. So we will go for Ruby Medallion. We're going to have to hope for a red mana, because we can't get our commander down until we draw into another one. And we'll ping our opponent and pass the turn. They're a couple of mana away from their commander actually, and we're giving them red mana with the Felwar Stone. But they've got a Steam Vents anyway. And now they may be leaving up some counter magic, unfortunately. We'll drop our Hanweir Battlements. Go in for a Mind Stone, followed by a Rampaging Ferocidon. That's more likely to deal our opponent some damage. Looks like they are holding up counter magic. Nope, going for a Mystical Tutor. Perhaps a Wheel. Nope, it is a board wiping Toxic Deluge. It's good that we know about that before our commander comes down, that is. Then a Vidalcan Orrery for playing things at instant speed. A board wipe at instant speed isn't good. Yeah, I say we go for the Fiery Confluence here. Let's blow up a couple of artifacts and deal 2 damage to each opponent. Try and slow our opponent down some here. Then we will ping them with the Spear Spewer and swing in with the Rampaging Ferocidon. Not having the best of luck with mana here. Bajuka Bog coming down to exile our graveyard. We don't mind losing Fiery Confluence. We can't interact with the graveyard anyway. Then a Toxic Deluge during our opponent's turn. They were forced to do that because we got rid of their Vidalcan Orrery. Let's go for Chandra. We can knock Summoning Sickness off of her, and then once our commander comes down, she will be able to Lightning Bolt and flip immediately. Does entail us getting into a mountain though. Okay, I'll take a Wheel of Fortune. In response to Chandra untapping, let's ping our opponent. Okay, a Dream Fracture. Going on to the Wheel of Fortune, so our opponent's not ready for a wheel just yet. Then we'll ping our opponent again because we can cast another red spell here. We'll go for Circle of Flame. And ping our opponent for a 3rd time and flip her over. And now we'll go for a couple of points of damage onto our opponent. We're doing quite well, burning their life total down, considering we couldn't get our commander into play. A Jace's Archivist. Well, that's a wheel on a stick, so we don't mind our opponent going for a wheel. We finally get into that land. Before we use Chandra's ability, let's see if we can make our commander stick. 2 more cards in our opponent's hand, and they may have counter magic still. Torbran manages to hit the field. So let's go for 4 points of damage onto our opponent. And we'll leave it like that. Alright, a Winds of Change. Shuffles their hand into their library and draws that many. Let's draw. We'll go down a mana, but let's draw an extra card here. And that just means that we'll draw into an extra card with the Winds of Change. Good to get rid of Vandal Blast because we can't make use of that. Alright, yeah, that's a lot more mana. And a Sulfuric Vortex. Alright, we're going to feed our opponent some cards here with the Jace's Archivist. They go from 1 card up to 4. And yeah, we've got more mana again. A Gauntlet of Might will make mountains, tap for 2. Then a Teferi's Puzzle Box. So that means that we're not going to keep the cards that are in our hand currently. Doesn't matter because our opponent doesn't have any pain effects. So we put all the cards into our library and draw that many. I think we've got our opponent here. Let's hit them for 4. And then we'll play out the Inferno Titan. We'll get rid of Jace's Archivist and deal 4 damage to our opponent. And then we swing in with Torbran. And that is that. And our opponent was unlucky with the Teferi's Puzzle Box. They just drew into a bunch of lands. I think the turning point there was getting rid of their Felwar Stone and Vidalcan Orrery. If they can Toxic Deluge on our turn, it means that they kind of get 2 turns in a row. When they go back over to their turn, they can carry on doing stuff. But forcing them to slow down and Deluge on their own turn, yeah, I think that was a turning point for us. And we managed to deal quite a bit of damage there without our commander in play, so even though we were mana screwed, we were still getting some good burn on the go. Anyway, hopefully you all enjoyed this Torbran Thane of Redfell game. I'm tribalkai on the EDH channel. Thank you for watching.